Well, hello and welcome to a new thing that I'm doing, which is the DCUK preview show. Alongside me, his video has gone blank, and I hope he's still there. But it is over on this side is Barney, who runs the UK NYCFC account. If you can hear me, Barney, are you there?
I am here and the video has gone again. I'm going to leave while you do your intro. I'll be 30 seconds.
Gotta love the live streaming, eh? So at the moment, you've only got me, but this is all about the preview of tonight's game because why not? This is something I've wanted to do for a little bit, but I've just never got round to it. Who we got? We've got New York City FC. We are playing actually in New York this evening for which is weird playing the New York team in New York because they like to play at the Red Bull Arena usually. Yes, Barney has just arrived back in, so let's just get him back in.
Yes,
There
there
he
we
is.
go.
You can see him.
17th time lucky.
Gotta love this. I mean, this is a brand new streaming software that I'm using called Restream. It has been fantastic. It isn't sponsored by Restream, just before anyone shouts anything. But it means that we can do some fancy stuff, and it means I can start doing little old things like bring that little thing down at the bottom. Look at that. If you've been watching the YouTube channel for the last sort of month or so, you'll see that we've been doing this quite a lot. So if you've got any questions or you've got any thoughts, hit them up in the chat and we'll get them out on the show. So Barney, it's been a while. How are you?
Very good, mate. Very good. Well, I'm good. Football life isn't so good. Being a Portsmouth fan and a New York City fan has been tough the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said the last few weeks. It's been a month, well, just over a month now since New York City won their last game. I think that was only against FC Cincinnati as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, can we just let's look forward. It's not been fun. It's not been fun at all. We should have beat the Red Bulls in the first of the Derby double.
Yeah.
And then that shocking penalty decision.
That's MLS for you, isn't it?
Yeah, MLS. Well, that's pro refs, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
But no, it's been a tough run of form. We aren't awful. We've not been playing terribly.
Yeah.
Until the last game, I actually didn't think we were particularly good at all.
Oh,
well. Just a lack of flair. The players look like confidence has been lost that we had in the earlier parts of the season. Maybe they're having a break. Maybe they're having a little wind down, and then just gonna sneak their way into the playoffs and dominate MLS Cup. Who knows?
That's what we're hoping for, anyway.
Probably not. Let's be honest. But I think this is going to be the last summer, or autumn, for a lot of these players. I think I could see wholesale changes next year.
And is it still Ronnie? Are you still your boss at the moment?
Yeah, I was Team Ronnie. I was Ronnie in. But,
I remember you saying when you were on last
time.
There
was a lot of people that weren't a fan of Ronnie last year, but I felt that was harsh considering the amount of games that happened with 0 fans.
Yeah.
When you look at the last couple of games before COVID happened, we played Tigres at home at Red Bull Arena in the first of a 2-leg game, and we lost 1-0, but we should have won 3-0. Like, we dominated Tigres, and considering they've gone on to going to be in Club World Cup next year and stuff like that. Like, what an achievement! That game gave NYCFC fans so much hope, and that was what I was looking to rely on as kind of, well, look how good we played against Tigres. Then when we finally played return leg, like 6 months later, we got smashed. So
It's a tricky one. I'm just looking at your recent sort of form. So you drew your last game against Atlanta, but you said that wasn't a great performance.
Do you know what? It was the game before. I was thinking I forgot about Atlanta, but
the Red Bull one.
Yeah, the Red Bull game before, there was just 0. The game from a whole from both teams was shocking. It barely looked like Red Bull Arena was 25% full. You can see that both clubs have lost a lot of support. There's no buzz in New York anymore about the two clubs. because they're both having very average seasons, and by Red Bull's high standards of,
Yeah.
they've not won MLS Cup, but they have finished top 2 or 3 of the East and the overall standings quite a few times. So
Yeah.
for them to be where they are is, you'd say, possibly more embarrassing than where we are. I'm just going to try and divert some hate onto them for a minute, but
I mean, they've got that history there, so I totally agree with that. I mean, Christ, you guys have been going since 2015?
Since 2015.
That was going to be a question.
That's the
reason
reference.
behind the number 15 on your shirt.
Yep. So
Or should I say jersey?
Yeah, between this the 2019-2020 home jersey that I have next to me. So considering we've got only 6 years of experience, I still think that there's teams like Atlanta who buck the trend of coming in and they smashed it, but then look at Inter Miami, Austin, Cincinnati, they've all absolutely tanked. Austin shouldn't. They've got a really great roster, in my opinion. I think they're a great team. Maybe a bit of an Orlando syndrome. Maybe the wrong manager, right team, wrong manager, perhaps. I don't know.
Potentially, yeah.
I think Orlando always had a great squad and just never performed. But yeah,
absolutely. I've just seen a little comment come in. I know it's a few minutes late, but this one, when you were talking about your penalty decision, Kevin here, recurrent theme for the league: horrible officiating. Yeah, absolutely. It still baffles me that the guy who's at the top of pro refs is Howard Webb.
Yeah,
he was such a great ref back in the day.
If you hadn't mentioned it, it was on the tip of my tongue to say Howard Webb, possibly one of the best refs ever.
Yeah.
That run of games he did, where he did like the Champions League final, the World Cup final, FA Cup final, everything that he could do as a domestic ref or a club level ref, he smashed.
Yeah.
And international level as well. But he doesn't seem to be getting pro refs on board. Perhaps they need to look at the Premiership level of training. You've seen probably seen the programs like I with Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville with the Premier League refs, and the training they go through looks as high level as a Premier League team. Yeah. Maybe that's what pro need to go through and get rid of some of these old guys that whose names escape me. But
yes, there's one Toledo, I think his name is, or they like to call him Tomato Head or something like that. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong on there in the chat. Toledo's one. I'm trying to remember another one. Ted Uncle.
Ted Uncle, he is awful. Painful. Yeah, I've got a feeling he was the ref that gave or had the penalty with the VAR against Red Bull, so I could be wrong.
It wouldn't surprise me, to be honest with him. Let's just have a look, see if there's any news on who the referee is for our game.
You watch it with Ted Uncle.
Can you imagine?
Normally, the MLS preview, the MLS page is pretty good for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on just on Twitter because the pro referees, they tweet out who's refereeing each game. And for our game, has it been announced? Yes, it has. Joe Dickerson. Usually, not knowing the name is usually a good thing.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably fair. Yeah.
I'm just trying to remember if he's done. Is it the guy who I'm thinking of? I'm going to have to scroll back a little bit. Excuse me whilst I do this. Because we had... Kevin's just gone, no. Is it the guy who was refereeing in a game against Atlanta for us? The 25? What do you mean, Kev? The 25?
Oh, he's one of the younger ones.
Yeah, there's one. Yeah, it is the guy who we had against Atlanta. That's not good.
Oh well.
Because I'll put it to you this way.
This guy, I don't know if it will focus, but
yeah,
not going to focus. There we go.
Oh no, it is him. So this guy gave, again, when we last played Atlanta, he gave 25 fouls against us.
25?
25.
That's insane.
Yeah. And in one of Ben Olsen's last games at Atlanta, against Atlanta at home, so the same team, Russell Knaus wasn't in the match day squad, but yet he still allowed him to come onto the pitch.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And
that's a massive error from the fourth official, though, isn't it?
From everyone really, because Ben Olsen should have realised Russell Knaus wasn't on the match day roster.
Was it an injury? Was he like a last minute injury replacement, and they forgot to do the relevant forms and such? And
no, he was just missed off the list.
Wow, that's shocking on everyone's front, isn't it? Really,
exactly. But then in the rules, we should have been down a man, but we were still allowed to bring another person on instead.
Wow. Oh, so they realised after he came on?
Yeah, so they realised when he came on, and I think the Atlanta coach at the time realised that he wasn't on the match day roster, so there was something went on. Then Joe was getting messages from whoever in whatever office and going, yep, he shouldn't have been on, you need to do this, that and the other. I think in the rule book, it's supposed to be if that happens, then you're down a man because you've already brought a sub on, and you can't replace them.
Yeah.
And we ended up bringing on Moses Nyman, I think it was.
We
still kept us up.
That's like when Orlando tried to sub the keeper after he got sent off in the shootout against us. Tried to make a sub in a penalty shootout. No, you don't get an extra penalty shootout sub. That's not a thing. You have to play with the 11 you finish the game with. That's the rule.
Yeah, I mean, should you be able to bring on a sub in a penalty shootout?
Absolutely not. If your keeper's going to be stupid enough to get sent off. I mean, maybe with the sub keeper we would have won. Maybe their defender wouldn't have saved our shocking penalty.
Oh,
it's so fun.
You're not bitter about that, are you?
Yeah, it's so much fun being a fan of MLS.
You're guaranteed entertainment.
Yeah, that's the worst case scenario is that you have something laughable to talk about, and if you can be as flippant to the downsides as I like to think I can be, or look at the positive silver linings, all that kind of stuff, then yeah, you've got to be when you follow such average teams as I do.
Are you trying to say Portsmouth are an average team as well?
Mate, we drew away to Accrington Stanley. Let's move on.
Accrington Stanley?
Who are they?
So for you guys out there in the States who don't know that, it's an old Milk Cup advert. Back when the FA Cup was called the Milk Cup.
League Cup.
Was it the League Cup? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Milk.
Yeah, the Milk Cup. Then the Carling Cup, the Worthington Cup, the Capital One Cup,
Coca-Cola Cup,
Coca-Cola Cup in there as well. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
because that's when Middlesbrough got to the finals when it was the Coca-Cola Cup, and then we won it when it was the Carling Cup.
You lost to Leicester when you lost, right? Was it Leicester?
We drew against Leicester in the first one. This is back in the days when a cup final went to a replay.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why did they think that was a good idea?
I don't know.
Surely
I was at that game as well.
You get right. So it's old Wembley. So 75,000 people.
Yep.
Neither team is local.
Nope.
Oh, let's make everyone come back again. What?
Yeah, but they did it. They did it at Hillsborough.
Oh, they did. Yeah, they did that a few times, didn't they? Where they moved the final to make it easier.
I was just like, what? I mean, I thought it was golden goal rule. So Ravanelli scored in the. Was it Ravanelli? Yeah, it was Ravanelli. Scored an extra time, and I was like, "That's it. We're into Europe and all that." And then no, the game carried on, and Heskey scored when the ball went out, and it's just like, I'm not bitter about that one, not at all. Right. Anyway, let's talk about the game tonight. Because for both of us, it's after midnight. We're both staying. I'm guessing you're staying up to watch it because you are as you put on your Twitter handle, the OG night owl. So as I mentioned earlier on, your form isn't so great at the moment. It's been over a month since you last won, and in that time, you've scored 2 goals. I'm just going to give you the comparison to us as well. So our format at the moment, we got beat by the Revs in midweek 3-2, which apparently we played really well, and it was just unlucky that we got beat, and the refereeing was apparently really poor. Surprise, surprise. Drew against Nashville, got beat by Orlando, but we did beat Minnesota. So last time we won was September 30th, where we had back-to-back wins. And one of them was against Cincinnati, so not exactly difficult. But we have scored more than you guys have in the last month.
Yeah, the only upside for us is that it's at Yankee Stadium. We're back home.
I did look at your form at Yankee. It's been a bit mixed recently.
It has been mixed, but equally, I think just having the fans there, having any fans that are our own. I think the games at Red Bull have been painful. We've only won the games that we really should have won, like the Cincinnati game, for example. The games that we've had, the performances seem to have been better at Yankee Stadium. I can't even justify why, because the pitch is ridiculous. We all know that.
It is awful.
The only upside is that when we get these like latter part of the season games, once the Yankees seasons have wrapped up like it has now, the pitch gets much more of a work on that triangle where the baseball field overlaps into the football field or the soccer field. Sorry, the Etihad pitch, I should know it as. You see that looks a lot better than an early game season. That hopefully the pitch will be better. It's still odd dimensions, but nonetheless better quality at least. So some of the football, especially down that side on the camera side, should be better.
Cool. Yeah, because I remember, was it 2018 or 2019 when we played at Yankee Stadium? The pitch was it wasn't really green, and you could still have the lines from the baseball pitch and everything. It was not great.
At least it's not City Field when you get the massive net in front of the camera, like again in the Toronto, which was 2 years ago today. That I was in. I
did notice that on your.
I was in New York 2 years ago today, watching us get. I wouldn't say smashed. We didn't get smashed, but we got humiliated by Pozuelo in Toronto, which was not fun.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's been 2 years and 6 months, just over 2.5 years since I was in DC. But next year, it's next year. Next year we're going to do it. Getting money saved up.
I was meant to be going next week for the Philly game. Unfortunately, that has now 100% been binned. So I'm hoping that the fixture list for next season comes out super early. So that I can get something planned. The MLS needs to sort that out. They released the fixtures way too late. I'm hoping now that things are near enough back to normal in America that next season they can plan it nice in advance.
I think the big thing, wasn't it, because the Canadian teams weren't traveling back and forth and things like that, so that obviously put things into the spin. And I think now the fact that they're back playing at home, he's gone, but they're back at home, so that should be fine. We'll just give it a moment, just whilst see if he can work himself back into the room. I don't know what the heck has happened there, but hey ho. So if you've got anything that you want to say on the show, please pop it in the chat. Whilst we're waiting, let's see some score predictions come through. Let's see what you guys think is gonna be the score tonight. I'm gonna put us down for a 2-1 win. I'm pretty confident that we can finally win at New York City. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be tight. I think we've been playing well just without the results, and we're playing the game against New York, who aren't playing well at the moment. They haven't won in their last 6. They've not won their last 3 home games. It should be pretty good. There he is. He's back.
So, wow, I can't even hear you.
Oh, it's probably because I wasn't even talking there.
Oh, this is just laughable. Sorry, my iPhone apparently just decided to die. Unfortunately, I've got my personal phone with me as well. That was my work phone I was using. So, okay.
We'll just give it a moment. So, just getting some scores predictions coming through. I don't know whether you can hear me yet. Oh, I think we've gone sideways, have we? Nope.
What? To work. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Yeah.
Got it. Lose that.
Yeah, you're absolutely fine. There's no issues. I don't know whether you can hear me yet.
Yeah, I can hear you.
That's all right then.
So, my bad.
That's all right. I was just saying we've had
I'll
some score predictions come through for tonight. I was just saying, obviously, I think for tonight it's going to be a tight game. It should be a pretty good one. Yes, you guys are on a bit of a bad streak at the moment, so we've got that to think about. But before we go into our predictions, I know I've just said on the show what mine is, but before I reveal it to you, Barney, I'm just going through some things on the MLS preview website about our game. So you've never lost a home game to us. So you've won 5 and we've drawn 2 games. You've won the last 2 games at home, but I think the last one that we played against you guys not that long ago was a bit gut punching for us because it was the last kick of the game, and we had a corner which we nearly scored from, and then you guys just countered us and just took it away from us. I think we should have gone for a point, and we tried to go for 3, and that's Lasada ball.
Do you know what? I got to admit, I can't actually remember the last game.
Roberta for us scored an absolute worldie.
For some reason, it's just not sticking out in my memory. I can't remember it.
No. I remember, so the game, it was a 2-1. You guys won 2-1, if I remember rightly. We took the lead through Roberta. Moses Nyman played a lovely through ball, and Roberta cut onto his left foot, onto his weaker side, and just smashed it into the top corner. I can't remember the first goal you guys scored, but the second goal, yeah, we had a corner. We were trying to push for the win, and then you guys, your keeper caught the ball, threw it out. You guys ran down the other end of the pitch. Brazilian guy you've got?
Was this season?
That was this season, yeah.
Oh, yes, sorry, of course. That was the game where Andrade showed off his insane speed, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because I made all the Andrade wrestling links and such.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, that was for me. That was. I love this. Pines didn't foul when he should have.
Yeah, I think our games have always been pretty close. There's not been any dominant games, has there? There's not been one game to my memory, especially maybe the last couple of years. My memory's better with New York as my following's become stronger or whatever. But yeah, I can't say there's ever been a game where either of us have particularly dominated each other. Only the pre-season friendly at the beginning of last year was the only one that I can think of that we.
It's a pre-season friendly at the start of this season as well, wasn't there? The pre-season friendly where we ended up playing against each other in Philly.
Philly on a pitch that was mostly sand.
Yes. There was no there was no covering from the shade or anything from the winds. It was horrendous, and Castellanos got sent off, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, but then because it was a pre-season, we were allowed to sub someone in. Again, MLS.
I was just like, what is going on? What is going on? But so other things to note that the guys over at MLS have previewed about our game is saying that you guys are winless in 3 straight home games for the second time this season. The last time you guys went 4 straight regular season home matches without a win was back in August to September of 2018, with the 4th match in that run being a draw against DC United.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
DC United has just 1 point from its last 5 away games, 1 draw and 4 defeats, since a 4-2 win against Columbus on August the 4th. DC's only victory in its last 11 road games. In its last, that's the only win we've had in our last 11, dating back to the beginning of June. Gudmundur Thorarensen? That guy, yeah. Scored his 2nd direct free kick goal of the season in NYCFC's equaliser against Atlanta on Wednesday. He's
world-class goal.
Yeah?
Yeah, stunning.
Yeah, cool. It's the third time an NYCFC player has scored multiple direct free kick goals in a season after David Villa and Matrita.
I forgot about Matrita, but actually I do remember one of them because one of them was against Vancouver, in Vancouver, and I put it on Pornhub. I think I put it on there with the caption of Romanian destroys multiple Canadians or something like that.
That's amazing. That's amazing. How quickly did that get taken down?
Only when Pornhub did their thing where you're only on there now if it's like a certified movie and stuff like that.
What?
Like, I mean, I don't know anything about Pornhub.
No, what are you talking about? Nobody. What is Pornhub?
What's a hub porn? I don't
know. And the last thing that they've put on there is Ola Kamara scored just once in the last 6 games, and that goal came from the penalty spot against Minnesota United. Even though he's the Golden Boot leader, he scored just one non-penalty goal in his last 11 appearances, dating back to mid-August, where he scored 5 penalty goals. Hey, it's a goal.
Do you know what all of this screams to me? 0-0.
I mean, it really does, doesn't it?
All of this averageness just screams 0-0. It's going to
be the world's most boring game.
Yeah, it's on after midnight for us, so we've got to stay up late anyway.
Yeah,
and it's on a pay-per-view channel here as well.
That's stupid.
It's on Premier Sports, so
and not even Premier Sports 1. It's on Premier Sports 2.
Yeah. Fortunately, some sucker pays for it, so I don't mind.
Okay. Some sucker over here pays for VPN and uses that, and gets goes to the DC United website and gets Dave Johnson. All right, because it's the best way forward.
Well, at least if it's on Premier Sports or Free Sports, then we'll get the home coverage of whatever's in America.
That's it.
So because it's at home tonight, we get the brilliant Scottish American of Ian Joy.
Oh.
And I've got his name. I hate myself. Joe Tollison, I want to say his name is. He's the lead commentator, and Ian provides the very colourful commentary, very passionate.
Yeah.
Awesome commentary. I actually not even like a bias thing, but I genuinely think they're an awesome team. They work really well together. They're really honest as well. Like Ian Joy has been scathing of the club and players on Twitter before, but equally like constructive. It's not just hate. It's constructive feedback, and it's positive coaching. Like how that man's not got into coaching is beyond me. But he's got his own TV show on the Yes Network in New York, so clearly TV was more for him.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing I do actually enjoy about MLS is that each team has their own play-by-play commentators. I think that's absolutely fantastic. So for me, Dave Johnson, who's been there from day one. He's been commentating for every single DC match. He is fantastic. He's been on the show a couple of times, and he's just such a true gentleman. And I've got nothing but love for that guy. He's just fantastic. And the guy who he does it with, Devin McTavish, used to play for DC United, gives some great tactical analysis and great insight into actually what footballers actually think and how they work. So for me, it's a no-brainer to do it the way I do it. I would miss not having them on there. I know last year we were able to watch the games through the website without actually even having to have a VPN. And then the cotton done later on in the year, and it started to not happen. And even with the VPN, it didn't work. I don't know what the heck was happening. So I ended up having to go through the betting websites and not having any commentary at all.
It's horrible, isn't it?
Brilliant. Love it. But that's what we do over here, isn't it? We try and find a way to watch everything.
It's the way we watch our boys.
Yes. Mind you saying that, I was actually watching I saw the first half of the Seattle SKC game before doing this, and SKC were looking good. They were winning 1-0.
They had a dip last year, didn't they? And then they're back again.
Yeah. I think, let me just check. Let's just have a quick look at their score. Because if SKC either draw or win, that means New England Revolution win the Supporters Shield without even having to play a game. So let's have a look.
New England Revolution are one of those teams. I'm not a fan of them. They've always had like no fans. The fact that
is it because they said they've got no fans because their stadium is massive and it's not right, and they should have their own specific stadium like every other team apart from New York?
The next thing I was going to go on to was that like their stadium. I can't really mock them for playing in an other sports stadium, but it looks wrong. Because the plastic pitch, and then sometimes they still have some of the NFL markings on it with yellow football markings, soccer markings. It's like it just looks terrible. At least when we play at Yankee Stadium, it's just football markings with maybe like a bit of a turf color difference where it goes over the baseball field. But it doesn't sit with me playing on plastic pitches. Even Seattle, I know that that stadium is very 50-50. Atlanta the same, but the whole plastic pitch thing, not for me.
No, it just ruins so many players' knees. I mean,
I
think it was Zlatan who refused to play on them.
Yeah.
We've got one of our guys, Andy Nahar, who, after his knee issues over the years, he doesn't play on plastic pitches because it just means his knee just goes. So he should actually be back for tonight's game. And it's just plastic pitches. They're just not nice to play on. I don't know whether you've played on many plastic pitches, but when you fall over on them, it burns.
Yeah, I mean, I play five-a-side on a 4G pitch. I play in goal, so I'm stupid because I throw myself about on it.
That's what I used to do when I did it.
And I'm 34 now, so I mean, I've probably not got many years of doing it.
Oh, mate, it's just. We need to get rid of those types of pitches. We need to get back to all grass, or as like to be what we call over here, turf. They call over there. They call the plastic pitches turf. What's we are
turf to me? That turf is the artificial stuff. I thought, but
yeah. Hey ho. I'm just having a look on Twitter, seeing what comments are coming through on there. MLS Island, I know I've just seen you in the chat with your prediction for the game. He's coming up in on the Twitter as well. Thank you very much. So before we wrap things up, should we get some score predictions?
I'm good.
Yeah. What's NYCFC's lineup going to be like, and what do you think the score's going to be?
Lineup. Do you know what? Not to kind of not commit to one, but I just think our lineup is almost unpredictable at times at the moment. Even some of the players that have maybe been on form aren't necessarily playing. Tiredness, jet lag, whatever it is. Like we've had 3 games in like 6 or 7 days. It's been a pretty quick turnaround. So our squad could be a real mishmash tonight. I wouldn't be shocked if we get some of the younger players like Tavon Gray play. I think Tararenson will have earned his place after his performance and the goal against Atlanta. Maxi loves Yankee Stadium, so I could see him starting, seeing if he can try and run the first 60, maybe just do the first 60, do a Okazaki as I call it. And up top, honestly, no idea. I mean, we need something to change, so maybe we'll make a change up top. Maybe Hebert can start if he's got the fitness there. Smaller pitch, maybe it's ideal for him coming back from his injury. I don't know. I'm not going to predict the full 11 because I think it's almost impossible. But that's some of the key points that I could see that Ronnie's had to think about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it. I'm just looking at sort of the injury lists. You guys are lucky; you've only got 2. In Tinnerholm and Acevedo. Whilst we've got Heinz Ike, who's almost back. He's now running around. Yordi Reyna, Edison Flores, and Paul Arriola. So our 2 DPs are out injured. And 2 of our other sort of top starters are out injured at the moment. So ours is definitely a mishmash. But Andy Nahar should be back for this evening. And Bill should always be in goal. The defense, Nahar is probably going to be Birnbaum and Pines, I would imagine. Then Knaus and Moreno in the middle. Probably Gressel, who's been phenomenal for us this season. Who else we got? On the left, probably Paredes, and who's, again, been absolutely fantastic. Touted to make a move to Europe in the winter transfer. And then up top, probably Roberta, Kamara, and Perez, probably. So similar to it's a similar lineup to what we had against the Revs, in all honesty, apart from obviously Nahar coming in. But yeah, it's going to be a tricky one. It's going to be tight, and I think it's going to be a close game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be tight. I think both teams sound like they're going to have to make some changes. And as I said, I think that big thing of the fact that we've had so many games in such a short spell, I think that's going to really it make some players that could be key might not be key, and vice versa. Yeah. It's going to be a very unpredictable game this late in the season.
Yeah, definitely. So scoreline wise, apart from obviously we just said it's probably going to be a 0-0, but what do we want it to be?
Do you know what? I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to be Ronnie Raw. I'm going to say 4-0 with a Heber hat trick.
Oh wow, there's optimism, and I think there's delusion.
I'm going to quote the Pompey YouTuber of 4-0 written all over it. It's got 4-0 written all over it, lads. It's going to happen. It's Heber. Heber's going to have his comeback game. He's going to smash you boys like he smashed Red Bulls 2 years ago, or whenever it was. Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
Was that with the back heel as well?
That's my optimistic. My realistic thing is it's 0-0.
Yeah, I think for me, it's got 0-0 written all over it. But for me, I've predicted in a couple of in the DC UK group and in DC United Discord, I predicted a 2-1 win. I think there'll be goals for both sides. I know you guys have only scored, like I said, I think it was twice in the last 6 games. But yeah, I think there's going to be goals in his games. I think there's only been twice in his entire managerial career, where he's had 0-0s. And that's this season.
Well, he's going to get his hat trick tonight, isn't he?
Probably. But the way we play is designed for the smaller pitch. So I think we might end up coming quite good tonight. So we'll see what happens. That's the beauty of football. That's what we love this game about, is the fact that the unpredictable nature, the fact that anything can happen, and we shall see what comes out.
Indeed. Enjoy it.
We will indeed. So we'll wrap things up. We've obviously got to get ourselves warmed up and awake for the game, because it's currently 20-11. We've still got a couple of hours before the actual kickoff. Get some beers in. What is it you're drinking again?
I am currently drinking Hazy Jane by Brewdog.
Nice.
Not sponsored by, open to be sponsored by Brewdog. If you want to help re-establish your PR, I'll help you on Twitter. Otherwise else, yeah, I've already been to Sainsbury's. I've got me some pork scratching, some
nice.
drumstick squashies. Yeah, I've got the sugar ready.
Drumstick squashies, mate. You know how to do it. I've got the wagon wheels.
Ooh,
the jammy ones. The jammy wagon wheels, and I've got some Hazy Jane in the fridge. I'm currently drinking H2O because I don't want to be pressing the wrong button on this, getting absolutely smashed on live stream. Don't want to be doing that. I've been good. I've only had one alcoholic drink in the last 7 weeks.
Wow. Okay.
And that was last night.
Day without alcohol in the last 7 weeks.
I mean, I suppose when you support Pompey and New York City FC.
I was going to say that's absolutely football driven.
Oh, well, good luck for tonight. I'm sure we'll have a little bit of banter over on Twitter and see if we can get shout outs on the broadcast like we did before.
That'd be I mean, if you're watching in the UK, Ian Joy is normally pretty good for giving us a shout out, so I'll at him in a bit. Yeah. Keep an eye on Premier Sports.
Awesome. Well, again, I know this was incredibly short notice coming onto this, but thank you for taking the time out in the van. with your nice little clothesline in the back there with your shirt up. Look at that, beautiful. And I hope you guys out there enjoyed this. I know this is just a bit of a one-off, but if you enjoyed it, let me know, and we'll see if we can do some more like this. Until, well, I would say until next time, but for tonight, Vamos United, and we'll see you guys later.